Welcome back to part 3 with Dr. Noah. Today we are going to explore personalized approaches to health, how we can individually make sure that we are the most healthy and how we can better take care of ourselves. And we're even going back to biblical teachings and a lot of the health practices that still exist today. Hey mama, it is Celia from Bougie Mom Friends. If you are trying to find balance being an amazing mom while still trying to find time for you, you are in the right place. My co-host Cami and I are here to talk about all of the things from trusting your instinct with your kids to carving out space for self-care and even indulging in a little pop culture escape. It's all about real conversations with moms who get it because we're all about thriving, not just surviving. So take a breath, grab a drink, and join us, your Bougie Mom Friends.
Yeah.
But I want to know like the backbone of how you got into all of this. And I know some of it comes back from biblical times, but I just feel like I'm 50% Chinese. And so part of my culture has always been herbs and, natural, what's the word I'm looking for? Substances, supplements.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not really popular in the United States. Like it's all very much like
Western
you
medicine.
said, like the Flintstones. Like I took a Flintstones vitamin. Like, what on earth was in that? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like everything that we took, especially millennials, I feel like we're like, whoa.
Yeah.
Now we're the ones and we need to spend our consumer dollar better, right?
Mm-hmm. So like you and your dad have actually like pulled verses from the Bible. I saw the one on mold. Mm-hmm. And you actually tested what the Bible said about this will work on mold. And you did some research on that. And I don't know if you have like other examples as well, because I'm not sure myself, but if you want to touch on that a little bit.
Just kind of like the history. Yeah.
If you read the Bible, there's certain things that God told people to do that make sense. Don't kill someone. Don't commit adultery. Those are kind of, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Then, other things God mentioned, you're like scratching your head and you're like, huh? And sometimes you can rationalize. And we never know why God said anything. We can make good cases, but we still don't know unless we ask him. So, there's certain things now with like medical research that you can look at and you're like, oh, that actually makes sense. Not to get into it, God told the Israelites to circumcise the boys on the 8th day. If you look at fibrinogen levels, which is the main clotting factor in the body, that will naturally peak on the 8th day of a boy's life and then come back down. So if you actually are going to circumcise on the 8th day is the best day because you're going to have less bleeding that day versus other days. And again, is that why God made it or said it? I don't know, but it actually makes sense.
Yeah.
So, my dad loves studying all this stuff. He wrote a book called God's Preventative Medicine, and it talks about like 6 or 7 different examples. It's like $5 on Amazon. Might be $2. I don't know. It's cheap, but you can read a lot about different things of what he's found could be a reason. Like there's this one, if you look at God talked about in Leviticus a lot about like, different colors growing on your clothes or growing on your houses, which are most likely mold. And God told people what to do about that. And in some cases, you had to literally get rid of your house because there was mold growing in it. There was one spot, if you looked at temple times, during the festival of Passover, during at least Jesus's time, they would sacrifice tens of thousands of lambs over a couple day period. Basically it was like a slaughterhouse in a lot of ways. And one of the things that the priests would do is they'd burn incense and they'd apply essential oils, which both have really good antibacterial properties. If you look in the modern world, infection rates of employees in slaughterhouses are astronomical because they're exposed to so many different bacteria and different things. Or my dad's always read this one part of Leviticus where it talks about applying pigeon blood on people. And he always thought that was like some weird pagan thing, didn't make any sense. Why is that going to be in there? And you can watch the video, but it actually talks about how pigeon pigeons naturally have these, antibodies to fight off a specific type of fungal infection that was really prevalent. So you could actually, and they're like the one animal. So there's, the more that you read, you can actually find stuff and you're like, is that why God said it? I don't know, but I can make a really good medical case that would make sense and was a healthy benefit for people.
Isn't that crazy?
I mean, it is, but it isn't. Because, even if you go back and you look at like the pyramids, or even maps. We're getting off subject a little bit, but the fact that we have maps drawn to a T, how? Did someone one day back in the day, if you go back in history, they've basically traced the world perfectly. They didn't have drones.
Yeah.
They didn't have airplanes.
They had aliens.
Maybe. But it's nothing surprises me anymore. And the older I get, the more I'm down the alien hole. I love aliens, but I'm how did they draw this map? How is everything so accurately displayed from so long ago without the technology that we have today? They had to, outside of some of the modern medicine and obviously some of the big studies they've done, they've better doing something right.
I 100% agree with you on that. I remember being in Israel and seeing this big rock that was part of the Temple Mount. It was bigger than a Boeing 777. And it's how the heck did you lift that up? But yeah. I think, one thing that nowadays we're so just gunked up. My dad's always taught that if you look at animals in nature, they have their plants that they always eat. At least, for your herbivores, they have their plants they always eat. But if they get sick, they eat different plants than normal because they eat, they have this intuition to know, oh, I'm sick. I need to eat this herb that has properties that are going to be beneficial for me. And it was really cool. A couple months ago, there was a National Geographic thing, and it was actually showing this sick gorilla that was eating a plant that it wouldn't normally eat that had good antimicrobial properties. And it talked about it as an example of eating something that it typically wouldn't. So I think, God gave us some natural intuition of how to be healthy and heal ourselves. Just nowadays in today's society, we've lost touch with all of that, unfortunately.
Yeah. So I guess that's a good question. And I know we don't have all day with you, although I wish we did. But I feel we need to de-learn that, right? Sometimes I will be week before my period, and all I want, Dr. Noah, is some ramen noodles and a Diet Coke. And I'm why? Why is my body craving this? I'm obviously craving something, but I don't know what I should be craving. And how, if we were to work with you or, if you connected us to a doctor throughout the country, how do you guys help people figure out what your body rejects versus what your body needs?
It's going to help. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good question. Our bodies can start to crave what microbes in our body crave. So if you have any type of fungal infection, so people think of toenail fungus, yeast infections, ringworm, those are fungal infections. But I'd say let's say 70% of my patients have fungal infections and maybe only 15% have those outward symptoms. Most of them just have inward. And it's if you have fungi growing in your body, they feed off of sugar. So your body's going to crave sugar.
Oh.
Or if your gut's messed up, you might be low in dopamine, which could be why you're depressed or not as excited about life. And eating certain foods can cause dopamine rushes, but then they cause other crashes. So it's supporting different things. When patients see me in person, I do a lot of different muscle neurological testing, and I could have 5 people come to me with the exact same symptoms, and every one of them is going to be on a completely different program. That's not uncommon for me whatsoever.
That's amazing.
I don't work with patients remotely very often. I think I have 3 I've taken in the past year. So pretty rarely. I almost, depending on the symptoms again, I put them on fairly strict elimination diets. I take them off of most things that I might see inflammatory. That could be coffee, that could be gluten, that can be dairy, that can be corn, that could be nightshades, it could be eggs, a lot of different things. And the goal is to, do that, give them some supplements to help optimize their brain function, their gut function, all of that. And then it's like, once they're feeling better, it's adding things back in slowly and see if you still feel better.
Oh.
The first goal again is take out foods, get them feeling better. Then it's what can we add back in and they still feel good. Sometimes you can add back in everything, sometimes nothing, or more often a lot of things, but maybe not quite everything. So I think sometimes it's doing a more ultimate elimination diet, or like one thing my dad's had patients do is put them on a rare food diet for like 5 days and see if you feel better. So rare food would be eating foods that you don't typically eat that are healthy. So like start eating bison and kohlrabi and jicama and, foods that are nutritious but aren't part of your typical diet. And if you feel a lot better doing that, then I guarantee you're eating foods you're having issues with. Or sometimes I'll just do more of like a meat and fruit and sweet potato and white rice diet, a little more animal-based-ish, so putting on people on like really strict diets. And if you feel better, then I guarantee you're on foods that you're not doing well with. And then it's just slowly adding things back in. And especially after you've been off of food for a couple weeks, if you don't do well with it and you add it back in, you will know. It's almost like, if you keep getting poked, eventually you just kind of ignore the poke. But if you take a break and then you get a big poke, something poked you.
You feel it. I told you that.
Oh my goodness. This
you feel the difference because I
stopped
eating.
You stopped eating. And this is kind of what Moms Across America said when it came to the organic food, switching over to organic food, taking a break from XYZ. Her child that had nut allergies went back later in life and wasn't anaphylactic anymore. And I mean, obviously, disclaimer, we're not giving you medical advice, but I'm going to do that. I'm going to eliminate everything that I eat. And I'm going to, like, for me, I don't eat steak. So I'm going to eat steak, right? Like, I do, I'm Asian. I'm always going to eat rice, but like jicama, like I can get jicama so easy. Yeah. And I love it. But I never eat it.
A lot of people have food.
We can do that tonight.
Yeah.
Because we're making steak. We'll do jicama.
Right. And I mean, one thing you mentioned, like, because you're Asian, a lot of cultures have really healthy ways to prepare food that we don't do it necessarily anymore. I mean, I don't know exactly in what Asian cultures, but traditionally they would cook rice. Then they like let it, basically put it in the fridge nowadays, and then you eat it, then you warm it and you eat it the next day. And that will completely change the glycemic index of rice. So, by doing that, it changes the carbohydrate structure or makes it a resistant starch. So your blood sugar doesn't spike as much. Who would have thought that? Yep. I mean, so there's a lot of really cool traditional ways that cultures made food that, just like sourdough process. I mean, I still got a lot of patients that can't do sourdough bread, but a lot of people can handle sourdough organic bread that can't handle regular because the fermentation process breaks down a lot of the inflammatory components, the phytic acid and the gliadin. So, it's like, unfortunately, we try to make things better nowadays, but are easier, and we end up making it a lot unhealthier.
I didn't know that about rice, that if you put it in the fridge and then use it the next day, that the glycemic goes down. But this is like a really great, like, if people want, like, we're totally off topic, sorry, but I just have to get this through. When we make fried rice, Dr. Noah, in our family, we make the rice the day before, and then we make the fried rice the next day. And I noticed no one else does that. Like, your general person, it's like a cultural thing. Yeah. Maybe that's why
the Asians
aren't fat.
There you go.
Because they put their rice in the fridge.
There you go. We just myth busted it.
I mean, it's really cool. There's a guy that has a continual glucose monitor, and he does videos of him eating all different types of foods, Jason Whitrock, and it's a completely different glycemic curve if you do that. It shocked me when I actually saw it on paper that way. It was cool.
That's crazy.
Well, Dr. Noah, you have officially blown our minds.
I mean,
thank you so much for your time.
Will you come back?
I would be honored to. And this is actually fun because we talked a lot of topics that I've never talked about before in a podcast, which I had a lot of fun doing. So it was an honor.
Yeah. Yay. If you like aliens, I mean, like, come back. Let's talk about anything. We will come to you. We'll come to Hawaii.
Yeah, there you go.
You can like test us for everything. Yeah. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast. This was just a huge treat. Yeah, and we're going to make sure everything's linked, which is basically going to be my homework to make sure that we have everything properly linked. And then I know that not everyone can afford to come to Hawaii to see you, but you were able to connect me and Camellia to 2 doctors that do similar work throughout the country. Do you allow people to reach out to you?
Is there like a database?
No public database. I mean, my dad and I have a database mostly in our head. Not published for a few different reasons, but I love trying to connect people with docs. If you write me on Instagram, I'll do my best to get back to you. I'm a little bit slow at the moment, or shoot me an email and I'm happy to connect. Just let me know where you live. I don't have docs everywhere, but we have a lot. I mean, I just got an email from actually a doctor in Melbourne, Australia that said, hey, thank you for sending me a patient. And it was someone that my dad had trained. So it's cool to connect people all over the world with doctors that we know and trust.
That's amazing. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much.
Yes. Thank you.